watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. Officials say the accidental cause of the brush fires was a Manorville family making s'mores.
They weren't able to make their s'mores that morning. What happened was they gave up on the s'mores, but the fire subsequently lit. They were unaware of it, and by the time they were aware of it, it was a full-blown fire.
The Center Moriches Fire Department put out the fire, but the embers spread. Saturday's fire spread to East Moriches, Eastport, and West Hampton. A burn ban remains in effect for all of Long Island. And firefighters rescued a person from a bedroom of a burning home. It happened on North First Avenue in Bayshore this afternoon. The Bayshore fire chief says the house was locked and smoking. The victim was taken to the hospital. And a middle school student has been charged with making a threat of mass harm. Now, it happened at Copake Middle School this morning. Police say a 12-year-old posted a picture on social media that showed a gun. Officials determined there was no credible threat and arrested the student. And the DMV is adding extra hours for Real ID applications. Now, starting April 5th, the DMV will open 2 of its Long Island locations on Saturdays. Starting May 7th, the new licenses will be necessary to travel on domestic flights if you do not have a passport or an enhanced ID. All right, sources say that Jets have signed a new quarterback. That's right, Justin Fields agreed to a 2-year, $40 million contract. The quarterback, as you can see, is coming from the Steelers. All right, let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather, shall we? And it's a beautiful day today. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be another gorgeous one with temps in the mid-50s. We have your 7-day forecast coming up later in the broadcast. It's been 5 years since the COVID-19 pandemic began, and some Long Islanders are still feeling the effects. Virginia Huey has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
This is my 9/11. I will never forget 2020, March 24. My life is still suffering because of a small virus.
Pastor Ben Thomas of East Meadow contracted COVID-19 5 years ago this month. His body so ravaged by the virus, he spent 6 weeks in a coma, 54 days on a ventilator, and 3.5 months at Mount Sinai Hospital.
It changed my destiny.
Thomas says receiving a life-saving lung transplant in 2023 improved his breathing, but the disease has forever changed his life.
Physical activities, very hard. I can do for 2-3 minutes, and that's all.
The pandemic not only changed lives, it brought about change in some hospitals across Long Island.
The good thing that we took away from COVID is getting prepared for worst-case scenario.
Mount Sinai South Nassau revamped its emergency department using lessons learned from the pandemic in its design. During the pandemic, patients were separated by curtains, but now they've been replaced with 54 private exam rooms.
Are all hard-walled rooms, no curtains, just with hard closed doors. So that is better for the patient, and those rooms are now negative pressure, so all of those anything that they might have is not going to get spread to other patients or around the emergency department.
Stony Brook Medicine opened a post-COVID clinic in Lake Grove. The clinic provides a range of care all under one roof for patients dealing with symptoms of long COVID.
And we've learned the most from our patients who've been significant advocates for themselves and for their health. And so learning about all the symptoms that they have and the impact on the quality of their life helps us direct research initiatives, directs care, and just how to better care for our patients overall.
Dr. Bruce Hirsch of Northwell's Division of Infectious Diseases says a valuable lesson we can all carry away from the pandemic is the importance of self-care, diet, and exercise.
So many of us have high blood pressure, have diabetes, have high cholesterol, are overweight. I think there are things that we can do in terms of lifestyle, taking our medications appropriately, working with our doctors to have us in the best shape possible so whatever comes, we're kind of prepared for.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
It was once the Big E Farm, To Robert Entenmann, as in the baked goods brand, this 22-acre Riverhead property was a home and a horse track. 6 years ago, the CEO of RGNY Wine bought the property, and now she's selling it. The 5-bedroom house and adjacent 19-acre parcel are on the market for $5.1 million together, or can be sold separately. I stopped by to test out the kitchen with the winery's hospitality director, Courtney Fitt, who chose an Entenmann's-inspired recipe.
I have had many a conversation over an Entenmann's Ultimate Crumb.
There are still signs of the Entenmann's here. A double oven, a serious-looking fridge-freezer combo, and a butler's pantry.
Most things in this kitchen are commercial grade. A lot of very good dinner parties have happened here. Here I have the crumb topping, and I'm just gonna pour in the melted butter, and then this should, in theory, get nice and crumbly for us.
Of the 205 acres RGNY owns in this area, 90 are for growing grapes. There are no grapevines at the home, but the vines are the view.
The house here is on about 3 acres, and then behind it, that 20 acres that you were talking about used to be the racetrack. So the inspiration for the property of being like a horse racing property, they had a ton of thoroughbreds here.
Robert Entenmann owned a vineyard when he lived here too. What was once Martha Clara became RGNY 5 years ago.
So our crumb topping is done. That looks pretty good. That's too much. We can put this bad boy in the oven for a little while and take a look at the rest of the house.
In the basement, where there are a gym, a sauna, and an indoor pool, there's also a wall with plans for the house, drawn up in 1993. Back in the kitchen,
it smells amazing. We've tried out a lot of things here. We've tried to see what we could push out of the land, out of the wine. And Mr. Entenmann was like that too. He did beautiful things here.
For NewsdayTV, I'm Ariel Dollinger.
All right, let's take a closer look at your 7-day forecast, shall we? Again, it's a beautiful day today. It'll be a gorgeous day tomorrow, Tuesday, and we're going to have nice weather until we hit the weekend. But look at those temps. We're steadily in the 50s pretty much all week. It's going to be a nice one.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
You're watching Newsday TV. For more on all the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us.